What it comes down to is they're so strictly enforcing this policy without any logic, without any common sense, or even taking a step back to think about it on a case-by-case basis.
A family in Mooresville is frustrated over the state's policy when it comes to students with COVID-19 symptoms getting sent home from school. Even if those students receive a negative test result, they must isolate at home for 10 days if they don't have an alternate diagnosis. Our Nicole Griffin is finding out what parents and students need to know.
On Monday morning, third grader William Denny was sent home from Newby Memorial Elementary School in Mooresville.
When I picked him up, he was coughing. I mean, it was a really deep, really strong cough. Had him take his face mask off once we're in the truck. Within a minute or less, he completely stopped coughing.
Michael Denny, William's dad, believes it was the laundry detergent and fabric softener he used to wash his mask that was causing an allergic reaction. His younger son, Bradley, who's in kindergarten, was also sent home, and both boys were tested at a Community Health Network drive-through site. Days later, the results came back negative.
I get it. If my kids were really sick, I would totally, absolutely keep them home. No questions asked. Absolutely. But because I know both my kids aren't sick, I'm frustrated.
Mooresville schools are following guidance from the State Department of Health. It states if a student has a cough, fever, or headache and the student gets tested and it's negative, there is a 30% chance of having a false negative test. Therefore, that student is required to isolate at home for at least 10 days unless they have an alternative explanation on a doctor's note.
The biggest problem that we've run into with this is that as soon as a kid is labeled as potentially having COVID symptoms, the doctor's office will not do an in-person visit.
A Community Health Network spokeswoman says symptomatic patients can be seen at their MedCheck locations, and they plan to reach out to William and Bradley's parents. The two are now concerned the problems they are dealing with now could continue to be an issue throughout the year.
As soon as the nurse at the school says, I think that it could potentially be COVID, all bets are off. They're out of school. And I mean, what about a kid that has allergies? You go out and you play recess and you come back in and you're sneezing.
Working for you in Mooresville, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
Well, the district spokeswoman says in this week's webinar for schools from the State Department of Health, it was mentioned that they are looking for updated guidance from the CDC when it comes to requiring a doctor's note plus a negative test. We'll keep you updated on any new developments when it comes to this guidance.